welcome to my channel. I'm Martina, I'm a visual interaction designer, and today I'm going to be showing you how to create an Instagram filter with no code required from scratch with Spark AR. So at the end of the video you will be able to create a filter like this that when you tap it gives you a random answer and then you can just reset it and start again. So the first thing that you need to do is download Spark AR and be sure that you have an editor such as Figma, Illustrator, Photoshop that can get you to create images. And in that case, I'm going to be using Figma. It's a free tool and has a lot of possibilities. So I'm just going to open the file that I use for Instagram. Okay, so I just did this on Figma. I just created an instructions artboard, tap to get feedback. Yeah, and then different feedback options that I got from my own experience, and also making a poll on Instagram the other day. So make the logo bigger, make it a little bit more dynamic, silence because there's no feedback from the client because the client ran away, make it more premium, to empty, add a few icons, change the font to 12 pixels, make it more emotional, make it pop, where's the wow effect, and why don't we use Comic Sans. Of course, you can just change these answers and the instructions to whatever you want to make this filter about. So, first step done. We create images and then we export them as PNG because we want it to be transparent. Then we export it, and yeah, I already exported before, yeah, three places in case. Okay, so next step would be opening Spark AR Studio. And then we want to create a new project, blank project, and yeah, start. Okay, if you never use Spark AR, here you have the visualizer where if your computer is powerful enough, you will be able to run it with your webcam, but I just recommend it to pause it when you are not doing anything, so so it won't crash your computer. Yeah, so the first thing that you need to do is to add an object, because what we want to do is that these images that we created will be stuck in our face, and when we move our head they will be just standing there. So for that we need face tracker, add object, and this way it will be tracking our face, and then we are going to be adding a plane. This is where we are going to be placing the instructions PNG that we created. Okay, so we will move it what a face. Okay, so we will be moving it up and we will be scaling it so it's more rectangular. Okay, more or less. Yeah, maybe a little bit more rectangular. Yeah, this is just an estimate. Okay, and every time that we create an object, what we do is add a material for this object. Okay, it's here, and we rename it material, and then we change the shader type to flat, and we add the texture, new texture, tap to get feedback. Okay, so that's it. Okay, what else? Now we duplicate the instructions that we create, so we will be adding here the answers. Let's just call it feedback, make more sense. And we duplicate it so we will have the same position and same size. And now, instead of just creating a new material for this one, well, we will create it actually. It will be feedback material. Okay, so we create the feedback material, but here we can just add our feedback images. We need to create a sequence because because we have, I don't know how many, but quite a lot of frames that we exported with the feedback. Okay. Ooh, my computer is about to take off. Let's see it works. Okay, so I just added the 10 slides, and apparently, okay, it's compressing, so I think now it will be crashing a little bit. So just to be safer, let's just remove the webcam tool. So don't worry, I think this computer will survive. Okay, so let's move on to the next step. So for the feedback material, what we will be adding is, of course, shader type flat, so flat image, and we will be adding the animation sequence. Let me rename it to feedback sequence. Okay, let me rename it to the feedback sequence. Okay, so we now have our feedback here. And what we also want to do is to make it random. So we have a different answer all the time. Okay, so we now have the instructions and the feedback, but we need to make it interactive. So every time that we tap on the screen, we get a new answer. What we need to do is to start with the screen tap patch. Okay, so I haven't said it before, but here in the patch editor is where you can just add little snippets of code that will be doing all interaction without you having to write any line of code. So what we want to do here is screen tap, and when we tap, actually it would be like this to the phone, I don't know. Yeah. So when we tap, we would want to switch from one state, that would be the instructions, to the other one, that would be the feedback. So let's search for switch. Okay, so we get the switch path. I need to add the not path because we want to switch between the two states each time that we tap on the screen. Okay, so now we need to add instructions to this patch so we can connect the interaction. Okay, so the instructions need to be visible since the beginning. So visible is start on, and this is how we add them. And oops, not like this. Okay, connected. And feedback doesn't need to be visible at the beginning. So we untick it, and we hide it, and we connect it like this. Okay, so now what we want is to make this a random game that ends after a few seconds that we started the animation. So for that, we will add the runtime patch, offset. So offset. This will allow us to reset the animation later. And now we want this to happen in less than 4 seconds, for example, so it's not too long and people don't get bored waiting for an answer. So let's add less than patch 4 seconds, for example. And we want this to be, yeah, a loop animation. Oops, okay, loop animation. We want each of these feedback images to be going really, really fast. So let's try 3 milliseconds, and then, okay, this needs to be looping randomly. So random. Also be aware that I chose the loop output instead of the first one, just in case. So, okay, we start at 0 on the first state, and it ends at 10 because we have 10 frames. Okay, then the problem with random is that it will give us values with decimals, so we need to make this round so we can get the value. And yeah, that would be it, I think. Okay, so now we need to connect our animation sequence to the patch editor. Okay. Okay, so when we tap on the screen, it switches from one state the other, and it starts with instructions being visible, and the other one instructions is not visible, it will be visible. Okay, then to create animation, okay, this is why we added the offset, so we can reset this animation. Okay, so here we decide that it will last 4 seconds, it will be going really fast, it will be random, choosing from our 10 frames. We want the round number, not decimal one, and yes. Okay, so let's try this. Now you need to change this to SELECTOR so you can actually touch it. Okay. Make it pop. Okay, let me try myself. Okay, reset, done. Done. Again. Why did I get the same? Never. Okay, if you enjoyed this video and you want to keep learning how to make more filters that have the wow effect, please consider subscribing and turn on the notification bell so you will be notified when my next video is up. Bye!